Cyberpunk 2077. This game has gotten a ton of attention in the last few weeks, mostly because of the Netflix series, which once again brought players back to a CD Projekt Red game that they had mostly moved on from. We saw it with the Witcher series on Netflix, bringing players back to The Witcher 3, and now we see it with Cyberpunk 2077. And I mean, just looking at the Steam charts, you can see that the total number of players that have been jumping into Cyberpunk again has been steadily increasing, and with the Netflix show, it's spiked to the highest level since launch. It's crazy. And they've made a lot of improvements to the game, a lot of tweaks, bug fixes, some new features and stuff, so I decided it's time that we try Cyberpunk again with some mods to make the game even more fun. And of course, I'm sure it goes without saying, but spoilers for Cyberpunk, I'm gonna show a couple of little bitty clips that include segments of a couple of the endings for the game, but nothing that's like story related, just like a cutscene clip to show a glitch I had. I'll leave it there, but just be warned if you're like really sensitive to that type of thing. But understand, I'm not like spoiling the whole story or anything. Now you'll see on the menu that I'm playing on 1.6. This is the latest patch that has a bunch of cool stuff with it. You can see on the additional content page, not only have they put in stuff that ties into the Netflix show, but they also have new wardrobe options, new weapons, melee weapons, a new mini game that we're gonna look at, new neon rims for motorcycles that you can turn on and off, and even something as simple as new scopes, changing V's appearance, and improved in different apartments are all available to the player, stuff that wasn't there at launch. Now to start off this return to Cyberpunk, I thought we would start at a place that most players won't recognize. And the reason they won't recognize it is because you're not supposed to be up here. So how did I get up here, you ask? Well, I used a mod that puts into the game something which still is not present through official means, but is so clearly missing from the base game that I think it's just a necessity. And that is flying cars and the ability to travel around the map flying freely. It's freaking awesome. Now, I mentioned at launch when I did my big 5-hour critique of this game that I felt like flying cars were such an oversight, or perhaps just a blunder in terms of priorities, because we can see other flying vehicles on the screen. Other cars and other people are allowed to drive flying cars in this world, but we're not allowed to drive them just cuz. And it feels really lame when you see the potential for flying cars and you don't get to realize that potential. But you know, back at launch, I just figured, you know, it sucks. I would have liked to have had flying cars, but it's not that big of a deal. I'll get over it. But I will tell you what, having the ability to fly through Night City changes it so much. Like, you really get an appreciation of how competent this city feels. It feels like a living, breathing place when you're able to look at it from a bird's eye view. And of course, when you want to stop flying, you can just disengage it, your regular tires will pop back in, and then you just keep driving. It only makes sense that, you know, cars in a cyberpunk world would have the ability to transform and start flying. And again, it just feels good. I rammed into it, but still, you get the point. You'll also notice that the game is performing pretty smoothly, and that's thanks to a ton of performance improvements they've made over the last year and a half, basically. Right now, I am playing on pretty cranked out settings, like literally the highest settings you can possibly go. And I am maintaining, if I pop this up, give it a second to calculate, 59, 58, 57 frames a second. Pretty solid. As always, if you want to see my build and in fact everything I use in this studio, whether it be the cameras, the lights, my microphones, my audio cables, whatever it is, I have it linked in the link tree in the description box below the like button in the kit loadout, so you can look through all of my gear and see how the magic is made. But it's not all glitz and glamour. There are still a few hiccups here and there. For one, I think the driving is still just total ass. It feels like you're driving on an ice rink. It just doesn't feel very good when you're on concrete. Weirdly, the mod that allows you to fly, I feel, is far more natural and fluid, and I am almost like a much better driver when I'm flying my car as opposed to driving it, which I guess doesn't make any sense, but you get the point. But you know what? Enough of the mods and the stuff that you can get if you're playing on PC. What if you're just playing on console, or you don't want to mess around with mods and you just want to see what the game has to offer now that they've made some changes? Well, let's look at some apartments right after I finish rummaging through the garbage. Don't mind me. But enough about mods. Let's look at the actual game as you would play it if you're playing on like console, or if you just didn't want to mess with mods on PC. One of the most immediate benefits to the improved stability, as far as I'm concerned, is overall performance within crowds. Just exploring Night City feels so much more real and believable now that there's just swarms of people, all in unique outfits, all doing their own thing, completing their own schedules. It's far more natural now, and it feels like a living, breathing city once again. It really helps with immersion, which is one of the most important things, if not the most important thing, when it comes to open world game design, making the player feel as though they are in a place that doesn't actually exist. One of the other things that can really help with immersion is where you live and where you can collect your items. In Cyberpunk 2077 now, in case you missed it in the previous 1.5 update and some of the others, you can now actually get an apartment where you can keep all of your stuff and where you can live. It's pretty freaking cool. I just take the elevator up to the 5th floor where the apartment is that I bought. Once we arrive, I go out, open the door, and voila, my apartment. Isn't it cool? I can open up all the blinds to get a view. It's not the best view, but you know what? It's my view. That's all that matters. I can grab some items that are laying around. I can look in the mirror to get a look at my handsome, devilish self. And you'll also notice that I have the option now to change appearance. What is that? Well, you see, in the base game, you previously couldn't alter your hair. You couldn't alter your eyebrows or eye color, anything else, even though everybody else in the world of Cyberpunk could do it. Everyone else in Night City could go and alter their appearance willy-nilly. Now you can too. If I want to tweak my beard style, look a little Amish, get the handlebar mustache going, I can do all of that. I can tweak the overarching design of the beard. I can just get rid of it entirely. And then when I'm happy with how it's been set up and how I've changed it, I just hit confirm and voila, my character is altered. I cannot even tell you how much I would have loved to have this option back when the game originally launched, because I decided to create a character that I thought looked pretty cool in the character creator. Turns out, outside of the character creator, she looked like a she-devil. Like, seriously, look at this. This is an actual capture from my run through of the game back in 2020/2021 that I did for the big critique video. And this is one of the endings you get with Pan Am. And you can see my character has these like long fingernails and the neon, like Wendy's hot and juicy redhead hair, the red eyes. She looked really cool in the character creator, looked horrible in the game when you actually started exploring. People often ask me like how I store footage and stuff for videos and critiques and stuff. I actually have a NAS where I store all of this stuff, and you can see just all of the games and stuff that I've collected. Every time I play a game, I record pretty much every second of it, and Cyberpunk is no exception. So I have different gameplay clips of different like playthroughs I did, all sorts of different stuff. It's pretty cool. Yeah, like I remember playing through this final ending for the Arasaka quest line and then reaching this point and I saw her and I actually broke out laughing because it looked so ridiculous. So I wish I could have changed this back in the day. Like, she just looks so stupid. The hair doesn't render right, so it just looks like it's glowing all the time. It's unfortunate, but you know what? Now in the game, you can change that. And there's other stuff you can visually change too. Now, speaking of other things that you can change, you notice we have a wardrobe in the game now. Now, this addresses one very particular issue that's been in the game since launch. You see, in Cyberpunk 2077, we have all sorts of different outfits and items that we can equip and wear that will not only change our appearance, but also will change our stats. You can see that this shirt has 25.7 armor. You can see that this outfit, coat, whatever thing, has 25.7. You can see this hat has 10.1. They have all sorts of different ability boosting, increases armor by 6 while including 19.7 armor. And so in order to have the best loadout based on what you had discovered in the world up to that point, usually you would look pretty ridiculous. I mean, you can see if I'm just going around and I equip what is like the best item in my inventory that I can equip, you'll notice that I end up looking a little weird pretty quickly. Honestly, that's not the worst outfit I've ever seen in this game, but that's not necessarily saying a whole lot. What you can do now from these wardrobes is go right up to them and you can equip different items to load out a better look based purely on the aesthetic. And this applies over the armor you're wearing, meaning that you can still equip the item that gives you the best DPS reduction or the most damage output, highest crit chance, whatever it may be. And then you can also still look exactly how you want to look. So in this case, I've got 2 outfits that I've selected based purely on aesthetics, and I can enable it just like that. Or I come down here and I want to enable this outfit, and boom, I have that outfit enabled, hit equip, and we're set. And then as I go out into the world, I'm wearing that outfit. How cool is that? And of course, a beautiful view. This window gives a much better view, I'll be honest. But honestly, this apartment ain't bad. I'd probably live here. I think it's bigger than my first apartment. I'd take it. Oh yeah, one of the stupidest little things they improved. Look at this. Oh, it's bedtime. Let me crawl into bed. He crawls in the right way now. How great is that? Go to sleep. There we go. Yeah, for those of you who don't remember, at launch, V would just lay on beds sideways. The animation would play out. So like, he just put his head against the wall and then feet hanging off the bed, and that's how he slept, even though it's clearly meant to be laid on side to side. So it was, again, a very stupid thing. But when it comes to immersion, something like that has a huge impact and is a big deal. And when you're trying to create a compelling and interesting open world to explore, when you can't get something as simple as laying on a bed, right? Like, it just tears the player out of any sense of immersion they might have had. It just doesn't work. And again, the ray traced reflections in this game, I do think Cyberpunk has some of the best ray tracing and best graphics when it's working properly of any game, specifically open world game that's ever released. It's just beautiful. Like in this, you can see that lamp in the glass reflection behind me, and then you can see through the glass door into the armory in the closet behind me. And if I turn around, there's the lamp that we saw in the reflection right there, and then there's the armory that we could see through the glass door of. Like, it's just freaking cool. Now, they've added a couple of other things like new melee weapons, of course, the new skins and things, a couple of new quest lines for you to enjoy. But all told, the reason that you go back to Cyberpunk is to enjoy the world that they've built, the ambiance, the writing, the incredible side content, and that's why you play. And all of the improvements that they've made add to that. And in that pursuit, they do a really good job. But if you're expecting this game to all of a sudden be totally different, you're gonna be disappointed. Even something as simple as the flying cars, which I've had to use mods to gain, they don't actually work too well with how they design the world, because pretty clearly, that's funny, sorry dude. Pretty clearly, they designed this map for you to only drive and walk around on. They did not anticipate you flying around the map like I'm doing right now. I mean, for one, I'm able to just travel over here off the coast where they have the rockets that launch every once in a while in the story, and I can just like drive around them, and I can check out the low poly models and the textures that don't really work. And if you want to see something really stupid, look at this. Like, oh, I just want to drive over there. Let's go. Okay, I'll hop on here. Let's go. And then then I'm gone. Okay. I mean, again, you're not supposed to be over here. The only reason I'm over here is because I've altered the game files like this. So it's kind of stupid to bring up, but I just found it funny. But I will tell you what, if you are playing on PC and you have the ability to download this mod, oh baby, it just ties everything together so well, and it feels so natural to just be able to explore the city and slam into walkways with zero effort, just exploring. And it's great. It's making me appreciate this map so much more. Even though I'm flying over it, it makes me really appreciate it. And there are also mods that you can install which allow you to use the tram system instead of fast traveling. So if you want to fast travel between points, you have to actually go onto the train and tram and actually travel through the map using that and wait as it transports you around. Again, really helps with immersion and is super cool. The only reason I'm not doing it in this video is because it kept making my game crash, but a ton of other people have gotten it working, so maybe you'll have more luck. But the moral of the story with these improvements and patches that they've made over the last few months is that Cyberpunk is now the game that most people wanted it to be at launch. If the game had launched in this state back in 2020, people would have had no big problem with it. People would have been like, yeah, I mean, it's a little buggy, and yeah, the fact that we can't do like Wall running is kind of lame. I would have liked to have seen that. And like native support for flying cars would have been great. But all told, the game is really, really good. And that's where we're at now. Everything works really well. All of the little quality of life improvements that you would hope to see, such as the wardrobe, ability to change your outfit and transmog while still having your armor in place. New quest lines, new characters to see. It's all just great. And perhaps the biggest improvement is just generalized performance. I mean, the fact that I'm able to play this right now at crazy settings, literally maxed out, and still be sitting right around 60 frames, that's insane. And with the soon to be release of the 40 series NVIDIA cards, I'm sure we're going to see crazy performance improvements on those. This level of performance in this game is not going to be that crazy of an edge case anymore. Granted, I do have a very nice PC that makes this a lot easier to do. And of course, not everybody's going to have a PC like this, but pretty soon the 30 series will be last gen cards. And there will be a lot of them, especially with the crypto crash and everything else that's been going on with those. I don't fully understand it. All I know is that prices are dropping precipitously. So it's very possible that you will soon find yourself in a position where you can play a game like Cyberpunk 2077 with maxed out ray tracing and DLSS turned on at this level of quality. I mean, look at that. You can see the reflection of the sign in the glass. This is one of those things, I know it, where in 10 years, like 12-year-olds are going to be looking back and be like, you guys thought that was cool? Like, okay, you know, boomer, calm down. But right now, this is a technological achievement. This is so crazy that we have this level of ray traced reflections. It's just unreal to me. We live in the future. You know, I previously said the last time I tried Cyberpunk on this channel that I felt as though it was a little depressing every time I jump into it, because I'm like, I see the shreds. I see the little shreds of the potential. And I'm always like, man, what could it have been? What would this game be like? And how remarkable would it be if it had just been given the chance to live up to its own potential? And now, weirdly, for the first time, with the help of mods, with the help of graphical improvements, I actually think we're kind of there. Like, I am actually really enjoying just exploring the city and the world again. It doesn't leave me with a feeling of like hopelessness and depression. And it actually puts a smile on my face. And I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to be back. And you know what? If you want to hang out with me while we play through Cyberpunk again, come join me over on Twitch. I'm live right as this video goes up. I'm live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday in the middle of the day, so everybody can jump in and say hi. We're actually going through a fresh playthrough of this because it is so much better and we're enjoying it so much. So come over and say hi. I would love to see you. I'll have all of the links in the description box below the like button. And if you choose to come over and say hi, just let me know that you came from the latest video, blah, blah, blah. It'll be super cool. We have a ton of people out there. We have some amazing mods. It's a really, really good time. And I would love the chance to meet you in person. Like, why not? Or I guess as close to in person as we can reasonably get, but still. And to send us off, let's see if I can stick this landing, dropping this. Oh, I totally didn't. Oh my God. Oh, I'm so bad at this. Okay. Honestly, not the worst thing ever. All right, with that, guys, I'm gonna go. I'll see you over on Twitch. Much love. Subscribe if you liked the video and ring the bell so you get notified of new uploads every time they go up on Mondays and Fridays. And of course, hit the like button if you enjoyed it, and share this with a friend if they might be interested in going back to Cyberpunk. I think it's about time, especially because we have a major DLC coming in the near future and extra patches and improvements coming exclusively to next-gen consoles and PC. And apparently those patches and updates are actually going to improve stuff like the police response and AI for NPCs, stuff that they couldn't do technologically speaking on last-gen consoles. So now they're going to come out with those patches just for PS5, Xbox Series consoles, and PC. So this is a very good time to give Cyberpunk another try, because it's only going to be getting better from here. But with that, thank you for watching. Apologies for all my dead pixels all over this screen. I don't know when that happened or hot pixels maybe, I think is what they probably are. And anyway, I'm sorry for all of those. We'll get over it. You might not see them unless you're watching in 4K, but yeah, you probably see those right on my head. You probably see those. It's so bad. I've got to get a new camera. Thanks for watching. I love you guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.